A traditional legend from the Gothlands tells of the Palace of Bone. The earliest account predates the legends of the Winterman. For a long time, people have assumed that the tales of the dark sorcerer who lives in the Palace of Bone was just folded into the legend of the Winterman when the legend of the Winterman was introduced, similar to the natural fusion and syncretism of legends and stories. After recent evidence, it seems that we may have it backwards. They didn't replace the Dark Sorcerer with the Winterman. The Winterman and the Dark Sorcerer are one and the same. So collecting the legend as completely as I can is paramount. While I have many different sources for this legend, my main source of information is the secondary source known as the Children's and Household Tales, written by Jacob and Willem Grimm. Even with diffusion of the legends throughout the ages, I believe we may have something useful here for the assault upon the Winterman's workshop. Far to the north, beyond even the forest, is the storm, an eternal storm that has always been there and will always be there. If you survive the capricious cyclones, blistering blizzards, and even the hellish hail, you will face many more threats that live and kill within the storm. You may find a village in the darkness, a village that stays warm and bright even during the darkest winter night. You will be tempted to stay, but you have to keep pushing further north. Even as you move further north, you will see the village many more times. The homes will look so warm and comfortable. The lights will follow you like lantern bugs, and you must not be tempted to go into the village. If you decide to give in to your temptations and head into the village, you will find that the village is empty of people. But every single house will have a roaring fire, hot meals, and plenty to drink. Even if you ignore my warnings and you make your way into the village, you must not be tempted to eat nor drink anything that is offered to you. There will be hot meals on the tables, the pantries will be full of sweets, and there will be plentiful drinks. Wines, spiced ciders, meads, and even decadent drinks reserved for kings and popes. You cannot eat anything offered to you, and you should not drink anything from the village, and you absolutely cannot sleep on any of the beds in the village. Only eat and drink what you bring, only sleep on the floor, and do not take anything from the house. And when you leave, be sure to thank the empty house as you leave. However, if you disregard what I tell you, there will be consequences. If you eat and drink in the village, you will see the other residents of the village. They will be friendly, they will be everywhere, and you will wonder why you haven't seen them before. If you didn't eat their food, you may notice that they have too many teeth, too many fingers, and their faces aren't quite right. Their ears pointed, their skin too smooth, their smile sharp, and their nails claw-like. Once they have you eating, they will have you drinking as well. You will not remember when you started drinking, and you will not ever stop. Your mug will never empty, and they will have you trying every drink in the village as your mind grows addled, and in time you will grow tired, and they will take you to the warmest bed in the entire village. A bed that is outside, soft, warm, and gray. They will bring you there, and they will warm your bed with coals, flames, and brambles. You will be too far gone to realize that you are lying on a bed of ash, and that the elves of the storm are cooking you. In their eyes, they provided you a feast, and it's only fair that you do the same. If you manage to make it further north than even the elf villages dare to go, you will make it to the freezing sea. Here it is so cold that even seawater freezes. You will see towering frozen waves taller than any tree, frozen beasts older than Adam, and jewels more precious than a king's ransom. It will not be worth the effort to break the ice to get to the jewels. They will glitter and gleam, but the ice that protects them is stronger than steel, and you do not wish to remain in the freezing sea for long. Hungry beasts stalk the freezing sea. There are bears far larger than any that live in the northern forest, with fur as white as snow, who will blend with the snow and ice, and who dig beneath it to build their homes. As fierce as these beasts are, they will leave you if you leave them alone. However, if you make it to the freezing sea, it isn't the bears you should fear, but the snowman. You will find a single snowman made by ancient snow, and you should avoid it at all costs. You will need to push further and further north, and don't rest, which is harder than it sounds. The summer days are so long that the sun doesn't set. The winter nights are so dark that the sun doesn't rise. It is so cold that you will feel like you are burning, and there will be nothing to eat and nothing to drink. If you eat the snow, you will freeze quicker, and you will get so little water that death will come for you quickly. If you fall, rest, or sleep, the snowman will catch up with you. He follows from a distance. You will never see him move, and you will never see who moves him, but he will reach you if you pause for too long. If you start a fire, burning whatever you can find, he will reach you even quicker. If you disregard my warning and you make camp in the freezing sea, you will wake up covered in snow. Snow so cold that your clothes won't warm you. You can only peek out through two small holes, and you can only move at a glacial pace, always seeking warmth and not able to be warmed by anything. The snow will be so thick that you can never peel it all off. It will refuse to be removed by you, and it won't ever melt. Now you are the snowman of the freezing sea, and you will have to find another to make your curse if you ever wish to be free. Making it further north than the freezing sea, you will find the Palace of Bone, built in a massive crater of ice. The Palace of Bone is massive, larger than a city, built by the bones of those the sorcerer and his students had killed. Throughout the millennia, the sorcerer has killed many, and even if you make it to the Palace of Bone, he may still kill you. If you make it to the front doors, he will let you in, and you can make your way past the workshops that dark creations are built, and he will take you to a place where you can choose treasure or wisdom. If you choose his treasure room, he will take you to his treasure room, where the gold will cause your flesh to fall off your bones, and your bones will guard the gold, your greed keeping your bones alive. If you choose wisdom, he will take you to his library. However, every book is blank, with not a single word written on any page. If you want some of the sorcerer's wisdom, it needs to be paid for in blood. You may start with your own blood as you smear it across the pages to see what is written on it, but you will always want more. Just another page, just another word of wisdom, just another drop of blood. However, you only have so much blood in your body, so you need to get blood from somewhere. The sorcerer will tell you how to get blood from others, and you will take from others to feed your growing need for wisdom. Your power will wax as your soul wanes, and you sacrifice others for your desire for power. Their bones building more to the Palace of Bone. Your shadow will fade, your ears will grow pointed, your teeth sharp and plentiful, and your fingers will grow claw-like, as you become some of the sorcerer's helpers, not dissimilar to the exiles who made the elfin villages. If you ever disobey the sorcerer, you may be fortunate, and he will kill you. If you are unfortunate, he will banish you to live with the other exiles. The wisdom stripped from your mind by force and liquor, living in the villages, searching for something you will never understand, and always seeking to keep others from reaching for the treasure you cannot have. If you decide to brave all of the dangers to reach the Palace of Bone for power, you may think of the dangers as challenges you will need to overcome to reach power. That isn't the purpose of the storm, the elves, and the snowman. Their purpose isn't to challenge you. Their purpose is to protect you from becoming like the sorcerer. The pile of bodies of those who failed to join the sorcerer is a far smaller pile than those that have been killed by the sorcerer's pursuit for power. This story is unusual for not having a character that was being followed the entire time. However, the warning seems to imply that dying is better than actually making it to the Palace of Bone. It does raise a few questions, since no one has actually survived a trip beyond the Northern Vortex. Who told this story in the beginning, and who are the people who survived the trip to the Palace of Bone? This follows the pattern of too many legends of the Necromancer. A common legend that is shared by many, but there's no physical evidence that they were there. We don't have recent eyewitness accounts because no one survives the trek beyond the Northern Vortex. Satellite imagery only sees clouds, so all we have here is a legend, and all I can do is hope that the information in it is accurate enough for our plans.